Good evening, friends, and thank you for joining as a community together to commemorate, to pray, to mourn this hideous, terrible acts that we've been seeing coming out of Israel. Yesterday, I attended a vigil in Los Gatos, and the rabbi there said that this feels like a nightmare that we keep waking up from, and then every time we wake up, the heart breaks, and then we think it's a nightmare again, and then we wake up again, and we cannot believe that these are the numbers and these are the images and the faces that we have been seeing coming out of Israel. I wanna thank you for joining together, Temple Isaiah, Bnei Shalom, Bnei Tikva, and Bet Emek. Together, I wish I could be there with you. For whatever reason I couldn't attend tonight, I will be there on Friday night, joining you as a community together in person. Without even being there, without being present in the room, I feel and I can tell how much power and energy you all share, joining together and not spending this terrible, difficult hours on your own at your homes with the TV and the phone and the radio, but hugging each other and sitting next to each other and sensing each other's energy, because there's very little rays of light in this big darkness, but these are a few of them that we can that we should hold together and be with one another. I will provide you the most recent update that I have from what's been happening in Israel, and this is truth to now, which is a couple of hours before you're seeing it at the congregation. This has been hour 68 since Hamas started this war against Israel. You all know, I'm sure you've all been following the news, that they started 68 hours ago on a Shabbat morning, the morning of Simchat Torah, where some people were still asleep, some people were with their families at their homes, some people were on their way to synagogue to pray, to celebrate Simchat Torah. Perhaps the worst possible time to be surprised and to start something like that. The numbers are unbelievable. We're talking about over 2,300 people injured, 300 of them severely injured. We're talking about over 900 people dead, which it's hard to grasp. It's hard to understand. It's almost a nightmare that we feel like we have to wake up from. There has been civilian casualty because civilians were the target. There has been military casualty, police, firefighters. We are looking at more than 1,000 people abducted, being held as hostages in Gaza. Among them, infants, children, families, women, grandparents, Holocaust survivors. Finally, we can report now that after over 60 hours, Israel has gained control over the Gaza envelope. And according to the reports we've been getting from the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, there are no more terrorists hiding around the Gaza envelope. That doesn't mean the terrorists are not trying to get in. There are more and more groups of terrorists who are trying to get through sea and through land. But thank God, recently, the last 10 to 12 hours, they have all been caught and terminated. 300,000 reserve soldiers has been drafted. That is an indication to all of you on what we are expected, what should come in the next days, weeks, and months. The goal of this war is to prevent Hamas from having any military capabilities in the future at all, period, stop, and prevent Hamas from no longer having civilian capabilities, so basically no longer control the Gaza Strip politically. I will say, and you all know that we're not talking about human beings. These are animals, these are beasts, creatures, I don't know what other name, monsters we can call them. They've been targeting civilians. They're not only targeting the Israeli civilians by entering their homes and their towns, their villages, kibbutzim, moshavim, going home, house to house, home to home, and butchering those civilians, those Israelis there, but they're also targeting their own people, because those who escaped and went back to Gaza are hiding in mosques, hospitals, homes, buildings, thinking that the Gazan civilians that they care not about. They see them as pawns, they see them as shields, and by risking them, they are committing what's known in the international community as a double war crime. So targeting civilians on both sides. I want to thank the overwhelmingly amount of support we have been getting from anybody from the President of the United States to members of the Senate, Congress, state legislators, mayors, governors. We at the consulate, and I know our colleagues across the country, has been receiving this overwhelmingly amount of support from everybody, including yourselves, Jewish community members, Jewish leaders, Jewish organizations. So I want to say thank you for that. Again, these are small rays of light in this big darkness, but they are meaningful. And keep sending whatever support you can to your families in Israel, to your friends, through whatever channel you can. I also want to say that Israel is fortunate to have the United States as our strongest, best, closest friend and ally. We have seen what the United States has been doing, sending a battle group to the coast of the Mediterranean, closer to Israel, to indicate and to signal to our other enemies in the region, and we have plenty, that to Iran mostly, Syria, Lebanon, other countries, that if you enter this war, you will no longer deal just with Israel, but you will also deal with the United States, and that is a clear message. For those of you who sit and think, what can we do? There is plenty you can do other than send support in whatever way. It can be monetary, it can be through a phone call, it can be through an email, through a post on social media. You can also fight the terrible war that we're seeing online. I mean, it's not as close to what the IDF soldiers are doing on the ground right now, but it is an important war of its own. By fighting those lies with the truth. There's no other weapon, in my opinion, against lies rather than spreading the truth, showing the people, the haters online, what is actually happening on the ground. And if you think, oh, I'm just one person, one tweet, no, you're many. And many tweets that you all share will share it by others and will share it by others, and it has an impact. So go online. There's a war that's been happening on public opinion worldwide, and you can play a part in that. That is all I had to say to you today. I will see you in person soon. I want to thank you again for making this happen. And I have to conclude with, I hope you all join me by saying, Am Israel Chai. Thank you very much.